I feel like how up is it that I forgot what the term feature complete was? It's been so long since a game has come out and that term has been used on it. I forgot that even existed. What is that? So 3,000 years ago, all right?
I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am to see Larian Studios succeed with the critical and commercial hit that is Baldur's Gate 3. The user score on Metacritic is maintaining its overwhelmingly positive score. If you go to Metacritic, while we haven't seen more critic reviews to give us a better picture for what the Metascore will be like, I'd be surprised if the game didn't maintain a high Metascore. And the Metacritic user score is still maintaining itself at a 9.3, this time from 446 ratings.
Well, there's also like no there's like, so remember when I was talking to you guys about like protest reviews? Where like people review a game and like, this is the worst game ever. I hate this piece of shit. I hate that the old game used to be so much better. The new games are not good. The old ones are way better. Game sucks. It's a 0. Right? This is, I mean, truthfully, this is a protest review. This is not a serious review. It's not like a, you know, it's I wouldn't take, Diablo 4 had a lot of these, for example, and I wouldn't take these reviews that seriously, but I think Baldur's Gate gets the opposite. Baldur's Gate is going to get people that are going to rate it really highly because they just support the like what it represents, you know, rather than just like is it a good game or not. They're just happy that, like, Baldur's Gate, they're happy that a game gets released, it's a full game, and there's no microtransactions. Like, that just makes people happy, period, so they're going to vote it up based off of just that.
Before, the user score was at a 9.3 from 150 ratings, and then beyond that, the game is selling gangbusters based on the peak concurrent players, and the fact that it keeps going up every day. On launch day, August 3rd, the peak was roughly at 470,000 players, and then that became 600,000 players on August 4th, yesterday, and then today, on August 5th, the game has peaked at over 700,000 players.
Yeah, it's gone up a lot during the weekend, and I think I think it probably will go down. Dude, if it goes up again on Monday, what the fuck? Like, I would bet on that not happening, but if it does, oh my god, I should just play it just based off of that.
Is massive, and keep in mind that the game isn't even out on PlayStation 5 yet, and the Xbox version is set to arrive sometime in 2024 is the prediction. The game isn't even out on consoles, and it's pulling numbers like these. Larian Studios is flying. Word is spreading about just how content-rich and feature-complete this game is. It's insane just how much content...
I forgot what the word feature... I forgot that term, feature-complete. I'm gonna be real. I haven't heard that term since like 2005. Do y'all remember that? Whenever people would say shit like that, feature complete? Damn, when was the last time I heard of a game being feature complete? Wow.
I've already discovered in what little of the map I've explored. Baldur's Gate 3 just feels like a video game in its purest form. No monetization, no exploitation, no artificial elements to try to keep...
I think that the monetization and stuff like that, like battle passes, etc., you know, I mean, like, it's a live service game with some of these things, and so, like, I understand it. But, like, you could make an argument that, like, that kind of shit is, it is immersion breaking. It is. Whenever you get these pop-ups, spend money on the game. Like, it makes it no longer a transcendent experience in the same way that playing something like Dark Souls or playing, you know, an old game or playing, you know, Baldur's Gate 3 is. I think it's a big deal.
You engage or whatever. It just feels like the goal of the game was to maximize the fun and the immersion and the narrative and just bring out the best of Baldur's Gate and what makes Dungeons & Dragons special. Every bit of dialogue is well-written, voiced, and all of it feels very cinematically presented. The gameplay, the way it's basically adapted the 5th edition D&D system one-to-one and how addictive the combat is. I mean, every aspect of this game just shines, and it looks fantastic to boot. I'm not saying that Baldur's Gate 3 is the only game that is massive and consumer-friendly and just rich in its content and substance, but there's just something about Baldur's...
Well, I think even if there's not a lot of them, or that there are multiple ones, each one should be acknowledged and appreciated, right? Because, yeah, like, there are other games that come out that are the same. And like, I think they deserve a video too. They deserve people to talk about it too.
Skate 3 that feels really special because it is a true RPG, the likes of which we haven't seen in a very long time, at least not to this degree of scale and richness, complexity, and player agency, and like true role-playing, you know? It feels like going...
Absolutely. I mean, Final Fantasy 16 is also complete, but why did it not receive the same treatment? Dude, I feel like a lot of people said a lot of positive stuff about Final Fantasy 14. I think people were super positive about the game. What do you mean? Yeah, people were massively like happy about it, and also because it was only on PS5. So like, how many people had a chance to be able to play that game? I meant 16. If I said 14, Final Fantasy 16. Like, how many people can play that game? Like, a lot more people have PCs probably than PS5s.
Back to an old friend, an old genre whose potential has been taken to its current apex. I hope to do a more dedicated video on Baldur's Gate 3 as a video game to talk about all of its merits, but beyond that, for this video, I want to talk about just how based Larian Studios as a developer is. On their official website, they have this FAQ section where they present a number of questions that people might have, and among the ones that they decided to highlight is this one right here. Are there any in-game purchases?
I showed this on my
video,
too.
And their response is just absolutely perfect. No, there are no in-game purchases in our game. We believe in providing a complete and immersive gaming experience without the need for additional purchases. Enjoy the game to its fullest without any additional costs or microtransactions. People have already taken notice of this statement, and it's gone viral. You can tell how much people are clamoring for these types of pure gaming experiences.
Oh, dude, whenever I made the video about this game, where the fuck is it? It got 774,000 views 3 days ago. Like, and people were so positive. They were like super fucking positive. Like my friend Eric, he texted me. He said this. He says, I bought Baldur's Gate 3 mostly in part due to your recent video about the studio in the game. Straight up fucking, he saw the video. He's like, you know what? Yeah, true. Let's get it. You know, and he like played Elden Ring. He actually got me to play Dark Souls one time. He was the first one that introduced me to Dark Souls back in the day. And he actually even played WoW before I did. We went to like middle school and high school together and everything. Known him forever. We became friends by competing with each other about who knew more about Lord of the Rings. Neither of us had a girlfriend.
How welcome these kinds of rare breed games are when they do come along on a AAA scale every once in a while. On some level, it's kind of sad that seeing a statement like this brings me so much joy because back in the good old days, this was just standard, how it is. Right? Games were much more pure before corporate greed began to corrupt game design through the mandated implementation of monetization systems or artificial extension of gameplay that make games grindier so that the monetization systems can alleviate those artificially implemented insufferable elements. There's so much focus on live services with multiple types of premium currencies meant to confuse customers and meant to get them to spend as much money as possible.
I'm a hot take. I say it before, I say it again. I think that it should be against the law to have premium currencies in games. I think that they only serve to obfuscate the price of things, and they function exclusively to deceive the consumer. And they are actively they are not only not good for the consumer, but they are actively predatory against the consumer. They should not exist in any game for any reason. Everything on a store should be in USD or the current currency. Yeah, they exclusively exist to obfuscate your spending. In any other situation, this would be illegal, right? Like having something that is part of the buying process that exists as a tool to make it harder for you to understand what you're buying and what you're spending anywhere else it's fucking illegal. I'm amazed that games get away with this. It's only in the gaming industry? Well, it's also in casinos too. But I don't think that's a good frame of reference.
So that they can reasonably obtain the rewards and items that they want or reasonably progress through the game. Even a lot of single-player games that come out in this day and age try to find some way to implement some form of microtransactions, with companies calling them time savers when the reality is that they just decided to take out features or content so that players would have to shell additional money on top of the $60 to $70 premium price point. And these are elements that do take you out of the game, that make you remember that this is a product rather than a fully immersive experience. But then a game like Baldur's Gate 3 comes out to remind us just how good we had it before microtransactions were normalized. But at the same time, it's good to see that these...
Keep in mind, I always got to say that there were so many duds back in the day. Oh my God. Hey, any King's Quest enjoyers? Holy fuck, any Dragon Slayer enjoyers? Oh my God. Remember that fucking desert? The shitty fucking things you move around, it hits your toe, your character's dead. Oh, well the dragon's fucking pinky finger didn't even touch your character, but you're still dead because it's in the hitbox. Oh my God.
Kinds of studios still exist, the ones who prioritize really giving players the most value out of their $60 to $70 purchase as possible. And I commend them for putting this on their website and making an official statement about this, because on some level they're low-key calling out the rest of the industry.
I think this is not low-key, but yeah, you're right.
Third-party publishers and companies who insist on compromises for the sake of profit, who insist on corrupting game design and player experience because there are ways to use the interactive nature of video games to squeeze players and psychologically manipulate them. But a private and independent company like Larian Studios, who are self-published and who are their own bosses, don't have to adhere to those corporate agendas.
And neither do we. If everybody just decided, well, we're not going to buy battle passes anymore, well, then that would change the entire gaming industry. That's all you have to do. You just stop buying them. And if you stop buying them, if enough people stop buying them, then it stops happening. But the people are stupid. And that's the problem.
Long as the leader is as passionate about gaming as the community is, the leader of Larian Studios is Sven Vick, who is a gamer and a fan of fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons at heart. You can just see how much fun he's having with the creative process of this game. Like, you don't see frickin' Bobby Kotick doing stuff like this, do you? A studio like Larian Studios...
We won't make an Epstein Island joke. Let's move on.
A publisher like Larian Studios is not common at all in this day and age, and so to see them succeed and to see them have this stance on in-game purchases and to see them just deliver such a pure video game and to see the audience and the people react accordingly by buying this game and enjoying it en masse with concurrent players peaking higher and higher every day, it just warms my heart, and it gives me hope that, you know, more development studios, up-and-comers or established ones, will follow this model and understand
that's the good thing, right? That's the best thing about it, is that whenever you have a game like Baldur's Gate that's massively successful, or like Elden Ring, for example, or Vampire Survivors or Halls of Torment, a game like this, that is like an advertisement to the industry. This works. And it says not only does this work, but there is like massive social cachet in this. People will respect you for it. People will care about this. And it, like Final Fantasy 16 was the same way. There's a lot of games like this. So every time that a game like this succeeds, gamers as a whole succeed.
This model is sorely missed and can be highly successful if you deliver. And what makes Larian Studios even more based is that its CEO has come out to say that it intends to stay private and independent. It intends to not be corrupted by corporations who may be looking to acquire Larian Studios. A few days ago, on August 3rd, 2023, news outlet Bloomberg released an article titled "The Strange Story Behind Baldur's Gate 3, One of the Year's Biggest Releases." Reporter Jason Schreier spoke to Larian Chief Executive Officer, or CEO, Sven Vink. And among the topics that was brought up was a list of potential acquisitions that Microsoft and Xbox were trying to make. I believe this was information that came out as part of their court proceedings with the FTC. in regards to the Activision Blizzard acquisition and whether that's anti-competitive or not. Microsoft has this internal mergers and acquisitions consideration list from back in 2021. Yep. And you can see that this list included some major players, including Bungie, FromSoft, CD Projekt, Hello Games, IO Interactive.
Which is like, I mean, that's good. Like, Microsoft should be thinking about, like, how can, like, who can we acquire, how can we do it, etc.
Tech. And among those listed was none other than Larian Studios, developers of Divinity and Baldur's Gate 3. Jason Schreier brought this up to Vink alongside speculation that an Xbox acquisition of Larian might still be in consideration, to which Vink straight up said, "I'm getting older, but I'm certainly not done yet."
There you go.
He has no plans to sell anytime soon.
Thank God.
A new owner might pressure Larian to maximize profit while curtailing its creative choices.
There'd be no bear sex scene.
Said, and then
would it
this
really
is a
be
direct
the same
quote,
game?
"The strength of this company is that I'm very invested in the gameplay, and I also make the ultimate decisions. We can do things in service of the games we're making." That's the thing about Vink. He's not just a businessman who's a CEO. He is a gamer who's a CEO. He values these franchises, these video games, as much as we do, so he puts that passion back into the games and doesn't want that to be corrupted by corporate greed.
Oh, it's a huge difference. Like, you remember back whenever Mike Ybarra took over Blizzard, and then they got rid of all the stupid things that were in Shadowlands, and, like, I think it was BFA or something like that at the time. I don't remember when exactly. Remember whenever he just took over and he was like, "Yeah, well, you know what? Why do we have the AoE cap? Let's just get rid of it." And then it was gone. Yeah, it was Shadowlands. Yeah, that's what happens whenever you have people that are in decision-making roles that actually fucking use the product. They understand what the problems are. This is why, like I always say, I want to see the developers play their own game. Because I think that if you do see the developers play their own game, so much more makes sense. I'll say again with New World. I think things turned around with New World after they did that developer playthrough of Mirkgard. They did that 10-man developer playthrough of Mirkgard, and then after that, the game started getting better because people could see what the developers were actually doing.
By the pursuit for profit, because for him, that's not the end goal. For him, the end goal is that creative fulfillment and giving players a really special experience through the interactive nature of video games, this very special medium that's so unique that he's also so passionate about. This is a CEO who's also a big fan of the projects that he's undertaking and understands the responsibility that he has to players. And so the top priority for him is to do these games justice, to make the game that is the dream game for him, and in turn the dream game for players, the game that he would want to play and experience and realize. And it's a beautiful thing. It's all too rare. And it pleases me to hear that Vink has no intentions to sell Larian Studios anytime soon, because
why would he?
It is my belief that a game like Baldur's Gate 3 would never be made under a more corporate environment. A game like Baldur's Gate 3 exists because it's a labor of love. It is
I mean, didn't they almost go bankrupt 3 or 4 times, and like people had to cut their salaries and shit? It was bad. Like, this shit almost didn't happen. Like, I think there's definitely, like, there's an element of survivorship bias with this, where, like, we see them succeed, great, but I bet there's tons of people that tried to do this exact same thing and they didn't make it.
Genuine passion project and not just a profit-driven project. Larian Studios being a private and independent company and having a CEO who's essentially like the creative director of its projects and who is creatively invested in these projects, that affords a level of flexibility, a level of passion, and that passion being allowed to shine to its fullest degree that I feel like it's just not possible in another environment where there is a corporate overlord who oversees everything and who wants things done a certain way or by a certain time. Baldur's Gate 3...
I mean, here's the thing, is that I don't... Like, look at Nintendo, for example. Nintendo still makes good games. Like, by all measures, it seems like Tears of the Kingdom is pretty great. And Breath of the Wild was pretty great. Pikmin 4 is coming out. People like that. People like Pikmin, right? Most of the time, I think Nintendo makes decent games. Sure. But I think the problem is the focus that they have on 3-month profits, quarterly profits. That is what the problem is. It's not even being a corporation. It's being that kind of a corporation.
is a product of a studio that could really do whatever they wanted, push their ambitions, however far they could, was well managed, unless there's some behind-the-scenes stuff that I haven't heard about. But given that Baldur's Gate 3 came out the way it did, and given that Vink himself has come out and said that the reason he delayed the console versions was because, in part, he didn't want his developers, the people working under him, his employees.
Well, the nerds that play this game have a gaming PC. Let's just be honest. Bro, the nerds that play Baldur's Gate 3, absolute gaming PC owners.
And his colleagues to crunch. Like, all of that suggests that, you know, Larian Studios is just a gem of a publisher, a company, and development team. Just every aspect of Baldur's Gate 3 was so well handled. From the early access, it is, I think, one of the best uses of early access. They allowed players to play a significant...
Yeah, I forgot it even happened. As I said, like, Dude, I didn't even know I had Baldur's Gate. I was like, I have the game? What the fuck? I had no clue.
Portion of the game, thereby allowing the community to play test elements and provide feedback that was then used to improve the game. Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't over-marketed, they didn't overpromise too much on anything, and they didn't output these fake, overly decorated trailers. They often just showed the game, its flaws and all. And then at the end of the day, they delivered a massive game full of substantial content with rich RPG systems, with a tabletop system fully intact. They didn't rush the console versions out. They didn't pull a Cyberpunk where they shipped completely broken console versions. Instead, they evaluated the situation, realized that they needed to prioritize the PC version and delay the PlayStation 5.
Thank God. So that's what y'all get. The console pussies. Fuck you guys, huh? How does it feel? Yeah, that's right.
Version till September, and the Xbox version they need to delay further because they need extra time to implement split-screen co-op on Xbox Series S. Nothing about the game feels phoned in or artificially crafted. Everything just feels meticulously handcrafted. Every bit of content feels like it was done with care, and no monetization systems or microtransaction schemes to corrupt the gameplay design. The one thing you might pay extra for is the deluxe edition of the game. So on Steam, that'd be $70. On PlayStation 5, that'd be $80, which comes with a few goodies like the digital original soundtrack, a digital art book, digital character sheets, and some little bits of items and content in the game that are neat little extras, but you're really not missing out on much at all by not purchasing the digital deluxe edition. You can see the details if you go to the Steam page.
It's like shit like this. Who cares about shit like this? People care. Like, the problem is that whenever, like, I think that there's just like this obvious fucking line where a game is overly monetized, right? And there's like different levels of it being just blatant and shameless.
And browse through the screenshots. I, for one, personally would have no qualms getting the more expensive edition or paying that extra $10 after the fact just to support the studio because of what a remarkable video game they've constructed here and because of their display of consumer friendliness and not compromising on the integrity of their creativity that is harder and harder to find in the modern day AAA gaming landscape. So just lots of kudos to Larian. Just big congrats to them on the massive critical and commercial success of this game. Here's to whatever may come next for this studio. I wish them all the best. Larian Studios is proving to be the developers that we need, but not the one we deserve. Anyway, that's my take on all of the awesome developments.
People keep buying those fucking battle passes. Oh, I hate these. I hate these so much. Give me the next one.
Baldur's Gate 3. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Baldur's Gate 3 and what your experience has been like with the game if you've been checking it out. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.
Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I should start playing it. Maybe I should try it out. I could do it this week. I kind of want to try it. I mean, like, maybe at least I'll play it one day, right? I mean, shit, play it with someone. It would be cool if we could play it with, like, a handful of individuals, you know? How many people you play it with? What's the number? It's 3, right? 4? Okay, it's 4. There's a video. It's a yawn video. This is, I think that, like, really, like, everybody see that? That's the way everybody fucking feels whenever they're like, yeah, see? Look at this. Uh-huh. That's what I fucking thought. You said it wouldn't work. It's working. Yeah, everybody is so happy about this. Thank God. Please make a character. Yeah, I mean, I could play maybe, like, if it was me, it's boring stream content game. I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, I don't like boring stream content. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck if the viewers get bored. So what? Like, fuck them. There's gonna be like some guys that watch and they like it, and good for them. Yeah, Diablo 4, we know. Yeah, you know. It's not that big of a deal. I'm bored anyway. Yeah, like, fuck. I mean, you can never... I think that, honestly, I think that's one of the worst things. This is a good video. Give it a like. This is so good. I love this video. Thank fucking God. Who knew that people would like a polished game with no microtransaction? I just, like, I feel like, how fucked up is it that I forgot what the term feature complete was? Like, it's been so long since a game has come out and that term has been used on it. I forgot that even existed. What is that? So, 3,000 years ago, all right? Yeah, it's not going to be boring. It's a new game. You're playing it. No change for it to be boring. I mean, who gives a fuck, man? Yeah, try and make your character. Check out the other characters. That's good. It'll keep your viewers from playing. Who cares? Like... The thing is that you go back and you look at the D&D campaign, is that so many people watch that. Like, but on Twitch it wasn't popular, right? It's mainly popular on YouTube. That's the kind of stuff that people like to see. And this is really how it is like this is why I think Twitch is dying. It's because people care so much about viewer count that they refuse to play any games that have any lasting value. Whereas people only play games that have like that immediate like hook to them that are like interesting to watch, but it's like McDonald's content. I think that's what happens. It's like, or fun. Yeah. People just go and they're like fixated on like the number, like, oh, we've got to do this or do that. And I don't know. I think it's a big problem with the web. Have you cared about that stuff? Of course. Yeah, of course I've cared about it. Yeah, like, I'm not trying to act like I'm above this. Like, of course I care about it. But, like, I think it's so reductive to the platform. I really do. It's because, and also, like, the viewers promote it, too. Viewers are like, why are you playing this game? This is a boring game. You're losing viewers. What are you doing? You're so stupid. Like, they get mad at you as if, like, they have stock in the stream. They're like, you're lowering the value of my 6-month sub because your viewer count is lower. What the fuck, man? It's so unhealthy for the platform. And I think that's why you don't see any level of innovation on Twitch at all. Like, except for Kai. I mean, Kai's innovating like crazy. Who started a riot on the fucking stream? Like, that's a new thing. Pretty cool. And the other fucker, a month ago, he burned down his house almost. Like, he's doing some work. But most other people ain't doing shit. They're not doing anything interesting at all. And the reason why is because people don't want to take risks because of the community. It's just, I don't know. And it's not just the community's fault, right? It's the streamers too. But it's just that, like, yeah, the website, it's so reductive. It's so reductive. And it's just that, I don't know. I consider it such a big problem. But yeah, I think that's a big problem with Twitch. But yeah, Baldur's Gate, it is what it is. It's lit. Fuck, I think I'll, you know, I would say... if it was like, what would be like the best team? I think that, like, realistically, schedule-wise, probably me, McConnell, Grayson, and S-Fand. I feel like that's probably because, like, we're all up late. Like, that probably would be the best team. Yeah, Emeru, you honestly think that Emeru is gonna fit in with me, McConnell, and Grayson making dick jokes the whole time, talking shit, yelling over each other? That is going to be the worst experience of her life, okay? Yeah, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, and SFed, yeah, there you go. There's too many people, game is long. I don't know if we'd really finish it. We'd probably just play it for a bit and then move on. Like, I wouldn't even play it, like, with the intent to finish it. It's like, let's do a few episodes and we'll see how it goes and go from there, right? I mean, like, I don't want to go and make these, like, commitments. I don't want to make, like, a 300-hour commitment. You know what I mean? Oh, CS fan swearing too much? He's a nice guy. Yeah, he'll fool you. Yeah. McConnell be invested as fuck? Oh yeah, absolutely he would be. Go for the old D&D team? Well, I don't know about everybody from that, but you know, maybe we see what Riku's up to. Yeah, that'd be true. Yeah, I haven't talked to him for a while.